Hiya Olga, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Could you first off tell me where you grew up?
I was born on a mountain just out of town, about 6 k's out, and yeah, I was born on the veranda up there, so it's my stomping grounds.
How would you describe your childhood?
Proper, barefoot, grubby, hippie baby, in love with life. It was amazing. I had the best childhood ever. We grew up very humbly, you know, like by candlelight, and would heat our shower water up on the fire and grew gardens and worked our way up from the basics. So now we're fully self-sufficient and off-grid, you know, so got solar power and springs on the land and a hot water jacket for when it's cold weather and we don't have any sunlight, and yeah, massive gardens and lots of fruit trees, and yeah, that's like the main thing I think in life, you know, is to work away from the system and to be self-sufficient, living with the earth, you know, you give to her and she gives to you. There's everything we need.
How about your education growing up?
I went to probably, I don't know, I feel like I was maybe the last era of bush schools, you know, in a remote sense. I feel like it's all pretty rigid with technology and everything these days. So my beginning of primary school was a bit loose and fun, and then I went into Steiner, which was out the other side of Nimbin, and my mum's actually a kindy teacher there, and she's been there since I was there. And I don't know if you know about Steiner, but it's probably the most alternative curriculum that we have access to in this country. So, you know, like no shoes in the classroom, no pens or pencils. It was all like coloured, coloured pencils, but no leads, no inks. It was all really like, yeah, it's earth-based, you know, it's learning to understand what you're doing and be a part of that rather than just copy something off the board and not be a part of it. So I had a fantastic time there, and then I went on to high school in Lismore, which was hectic. I went from like a hippie school to a school of, there was 70 people in my primary school, and then I went to a school of almost 2,000, Catholic school, and I was outrageous, and yeah, many timeouts and detentions, and couldn't handle that.
What was your relationships like growing up?
My relationships with life itself.
Guys or women?
Pardon?
With men or women?
Oh yeah, men. So,
yeah, what was your relationships like with men? Any ex-boyfriends, current boyfriends?
Yeah, I'm kind of coming out of a long-term relationship at the moment, and I moved out of Nimbin at 16. I left school, I hated high school, and I always told my parents that I was out, like as soon as I legally could. So I went to Melbourne at 16 and did hairdressing, bounced around, and then I've had a few relationships throughout the years, some amazing and some horrific.
And what's your life like in Nimbin today?
Nimbin's been through lots of changes, and I feel like it's in a pretty good place. You know, our community is holding strong, especially with all of the recent challenges, and yeah, I love this place. I definitely struggle sometimes, you know, and even like, it's pretty interesting, pretty tough energy here, you know, like this is strong masculine grounds. This wasn't even a living area back in the day. Like Indigenous didn't live here, it was a meeting ground. And the rocks, like it's all powerful masculine energy. So the town fluctuates heaps, and it's also the most like tolerant and accepting place in Australia. So we get all different kinds of people, you know. And yeah, it's challenging with like the oppression of the system and the amount of cops that we have here, and even the council, like we're in Lismore Council and they don't give a shit about us, you know. So we really strive together as a community and have one another's backs. And within the community, we've got micro communities, you know, and yeah, I feel like there's so much potential for it to really come back into a really wholesome place, but it can become pretty sketchy at times, to be honest.
What would you say the worst memory of your life is?
I think that's a pretty big question. The worst memory of my life. Fuck, I don't know. It's really tough. Also, I don't know what I want to share. The worst memory of my life. Well, actually, I think just to like shortcut it, when I moved to Melbourne, I didn't understand what was going on in the world. I didn't understand why humans were like this. I grew up so pure and so close to the earth, and quickly became pretty confronted and confused by the state of the world and lack of peace thereof. And so I think, besides just getting away from it all and being able to be my own person out of anyone else's control, it was really to get a better view of, you know, what's happening out of this bubble, because it is quite a bubble here, and in all, you know, little smaller places, but just like really to see the city for what it is and how far people are from the earth. It makes way more sense. You can understand their perspectives and their confusion or their lack of care so much more, because they're so far from it. You know, you can't even see the stars in a city. So I think, yeah, have like just really being heartbroken, realizing how far people are from nature. Just like, yeah, that was probably, you know, I used to find myself in the middle of the street in the city, like just suddenly would become aware and just have tears streaming down my face and feel so like I didn't want to be here anymore, and I couldn't cope with how fucked it all is. And then I'd have other days where I'd take in whatever I had spare and would spend my time on my way to the hairdressing studio, but to running down the streets and all of the local homeless people that would be in the same spots, and some of them were amazing artists and stuff, and I'd give what I, you know, spare blankets or food or whatever I had, and just like listen to these people and end up smiling and laughing, you know, and you walk away and you see that smile on their face, and they smile at the next person, and love ripples. You know, it's all so contagious, so it's really nice to be able to have that other side. But yeah, definitely, I think just actually the harsh, real recognition of not only like how malicious the system is that we're in, but actually like how far humans as a collective are from nature. That, yeah.
Based on that, would you reckon you'd ever leave Nimbin or like a small town and to live in a bigger city?
I have multiple times. So I lived in the city for about a year when I was 16, when I first moved down there. And then I gypsied around. Then I lived in Sydney for a little while and Melbourne for a little while, gypsied around more. I'd never be able to actually permanent. After about 5 months, I start losing my shit. Like literally eating clay, like smelling clay and ochre. Like I always take a piece of ochre with me. But if I don't have ochre, clay, like the mineral concentrate in clays, like, you know, like, cause I don't know, I start like fully freaking out, and you know, all of even the parks in the city, you can feel the pollution. It's not clean, doesn't feel like mama, you know? So just being able to smell or like eat a little bit of clay or ochre, like, yeah, definitely bring me back down. But yeah, just fully start getting angry, basically.
And before we finish, Orca, is there anything that you would like to say?
I don't know, I just hope that everyone can really just be and see and love themselves for who they are and love each other and just honour life, you know? It's such a trip, it's so exciting and fun. People get so caught up in it, even myself. You know, but to actually just like live as humbly and as purely as we can, but also as real and free and true to ourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you.